How aware are you in public situations? Do you know how to respond to threats should they happen? And specifically, do you know how much force to apply if something like this happens? This is what Rory Miller and Lawrence Kane address in their book, Scaling Force. The book digs into the inevitability of violence. Violence will happen, and we need to accept that and then use situational awareness to protect ourselves. Presence, which essentially is situational awareness, is the first step in their scale. You need situational awareness in both your internal world and your external world. If you have situational awareness in the internal world, then you're more awake to what's going on there. If you have situational awareness in the external world, then you're alert to what's going on around you. Having this double-arrowed situational awareness helps you navigate the stressors that you have in your life, and it helps you learn and grow. The authors outline 6 levels of increasing severity for dealing with threats. 1. Presence. You use techniques designed to stave off violence via posture or body language that warns adversaries of your readiness and ability to act. 2. Voice. You use techniques designed to diffuse impending violence before physical methods become necessary. 3. Touch. You use techniques designed to diffuse impending violence or gain compliance via calming or directive touch. 4. Empty hand restraint. You use techniques designed to control an aggressor through pain or force compliance through leverage. 5. Less lethal force. You use techniques or implements designed to incapacitate an aggressor while minimizing the likelihood of fatality or permanent injury. 6. Lethal force. You use techniques or implements designed to cause death or permanent injury. The authors outline a few important points for entering this force scale. It's very important to enter this force scale at the right level. If you use too much or too little force, you are in a world of hurt. If you try to use level 4 in a level 5 situation, you will get hurt, perhaps badly. If you try to use level 5 in a level 4 situation, you will likely wind up in jail or be sued or both. Now, this lesson isn't about how to use this force scale. It's about the first step, which is presence. Presence gives you awareness, and specifically, it gives you situational awareness. The authors state, before you can choose the proper tool, it is important to understand the environment in which you will use it. The environment is the situation. Now, the authors give us a general definition of situational awareness. At the simplest level, situational awareness is knowing what's going on around you. How do you know what's going on around you? Well, you need to pay attention. And many dangers, state the authors, you can identify them and avoid them simply by knowing how to look for them. Looking for them requires shifting your attention to the environment around you. You need a broad awareness. If you don't pay attention, if you fixate on something, if you are distracted, then you're not going to perceive dangers. Now, the authors are describing situational awareness about the external environment, but we also need to have situational awareness of our internal environment. The body gives us signals of how it's perceiving stressors in the external world, so we need to be able to pay attention to that. So we create this double-arrowed situational awareness so we can direct our attention in 2 directions. Internally toward our internal state and externally to the environment around us. External stress impacts your internal state, and understanding how it's impacting it helps you learn about yourself. Specifically, it helps you learn that you have a tendency to react to stress. And then with that awareness, you can delay reacting and then rather respond. This external situational awareness is achieved through your senses. What can you hear? What can you see around you? The senses give you raw information about what is occurring now. And you need that raw information before you start interpreting it or thinking about it. Situational awareness helps you recognize what's not normal. Now, what's normal is what's expected. So to improve your situational awareness, you need to expect the unexpected. You're in enemy territory, essentially. These enemies are unexpected things that are happening that aren't normal. They might be stressors. So you need to be awake by not being lost in thought, so you can be aware. And then you need to be alert by directing your attention in this double-arrowed way. It's important to keep your senses expanded. It helps you gather complete information about what's going on around you. Now, you expand your senses through kinesthetic feeling, hearing, and seeing. And seeing, or the sense of sight, is the most important of these. You need to keep an expanded focus. Specifically, we call this a neither nor focus. I introduced this concept in Warrior Lesson number 27. Now, internal situational awareness has to do with EB, or expanded body. You pay attention to breathing, relaxing, and maintaining expanded posture. Your body will tend to contract the stress. It signals to you in real time the amount of stress you're experiencing. This is your internal situational awareness. It gives you important insights about the level of stress you're experiencing. External situational awareness has to do with OM, or observant mind. You pay attention through your senses, sensations on your skin, what you hear and what you see. Keep your attention engaged in your senses. This gives you direct access to the raw information in your environment. This needs to happen before thinking about what to do. This is your external situational awareness. It gives you accurate, raw information about your external situation. The authors emphasize that you can't be in this elevated situational awareness state all the time in all places. They emphasize the importance of being aware but not paranoid. You want to be aware but not paranoid. Now, I agree with that. But for mental training, we need to improve our ability to be aware in more situations. Why? Because our default is to have our attention lost in thought, where we have very little situational awareness of what's going on around us. Your mental training task is to constantly wake up. And you do that by being intentional with EBOM. In other words, having this double-arrowed attention for your internal world and your external world. This has situational awareness in both directions. And waking up is achieved through the warrior master skill. Now, I introduced this warrior master skill in warrior lesson number 14. Knowing you're in enemy territory makes it easier to catch your attention being lost in thought. When you wake up to being lost in thought like this all the time, it enriches your life. You're more present to what's going on around you. You're able to be present and engaged with what's actually occurring in your environment. Now, you won't necessarily be able to apply the force like these authors are suggesting in this scale. But with this first step, with situational awareness, that presence, you'll be able to naturally flow with the unfolding of situations. Your tendency is to be lost in thought, and specifically here, I mean your attention is lost in thought. Attention really is all you can control or influence. Attention is your power, so you need to become more aware when your attention is lost in thought. You wake up when you recognize or realize that your attention is lost in thought. And you need to do this frequently throughout the day. You need to recognize when your attention isn't where you intended to focus it. You develop better situational awareness by being intentional. In the morning, set an intention for how you choose to focus your attention. And then throughout the day, catch yourself when you're lost in thought. Catch yourself when your attention isn't where you intended to focus it. Here's the drill. Create a morning ritual that gives you a baseline for your attention. This baseline gives you situational awareness. Prepare and then set an intention. Preparation. Take a few minutes to get grounded and centered. Do this by standing or sitting with your eyes closed. Focus your attention on EBOM. Expand your body while breathing and relaxing. Feel the sensations on your skin. Listen to the details of sounds. Then open your eyes, maintaining a neither nor expanded focus. Set the intention. State to yourself, my intention is to focus on expanded body and observant mind. Set the intention with your breath. Inhale while closing your eyes, then exhale while opening your eyes. I like to set that intention like this, like engaging my breath and my body and my eyes to set that intention deliberately. Set this intention every morning and then catch yourself throughout the day when your attention is lost in thought. This is going to increase your situational awareness both internally and externally. And with this increased situational awareness, you're going to recognize stressors that are in your environment and be able to process them so you can learn and grow.